Hi everyone, as you know it's Uncle. Today we're going to Bebristsikhe, I think that's how they pronounce it. It's a medieval castle that's near us. It's about 15 kilometers down the road. As you know, I live in that little complex here. This is our local shop. There's our shopkeeper. Hi, how are you? And remember I said grapes? I was actually wrong. They're not grapes for wine, unfortunately. Yes? Okay, yeah, that's all right. He was just saying I can go around, which is quite nice. So these are table grapes for eating, which they sell, as you know, in the little shop next door. Roses are very big here. They grow very well. I think it's the right climate for it. It's kind of a Mediterranean climate, a bit like Cape Town. Cold winters, snow, and very, very hot summers. So they'll sell the grapes in this little grocery here. I'll show you. Remember we did this in winter the last time. So here the greengrocer, and here's the famous grapes over there. So all good. Watermelons are in season, so that's nice. Let's move on, and as I said, we've done this little tour, but now it's summer, so you get to see what's going on. No, I'm just filming. Thank you. Thank you. Here's the other shop, and they sell beers. This is our favorite beer. It's very good. Beers. As I say, it's just literally 5-minute walk from our home. And then our favorite bread store, where they make the breads. Here he is. That's that little oven where they make the breads in over there. So, which is quite cool. Okay, so Pegasus and I, we're going to head to, as I said, it's Bebristsikhe, and we'll do a quick chat there and see you at the end of the ride to the place. As I say, it should only take about 15 minutes tops. So as you come from the north towards the south, the road travels along the river, but this is the first sight that you get of the medieval castle, and it was owned by a prince, but we'll get into it when we're up there talking about it. But that's the castle. As you can see, it's on a prominence. A lot of castles and that were on prominences for security and safety reasons. Gives them more elevation. It's easier to defend a high prominent area. So yeah, that's what we're going to explore today. So here we are at the base of the castle. I believe that area there was actually the main entrance. What we're going through was a breach in the wall. So let's carry on going up this road, and we'll continue later. So this is the main courtyard of the fortress, and this is where the markets and stuff would be set up during the day. The actual royal quarters is down in that building and in the what they called the tower. The castle was actually built in the 18th century, as I said, to protect the river and the old road that was there. As you can see, the walls are very thick. They are about 3 meters thick. What amazed me is how they built buildings like this without real cement. I mean, they had some sort of slurry cement, but nothing of any strength at all. If you look down here, you'll see the Karrtli river, and that was the main river that flowed into Mtsheta, and Mtsheta was the capital at that time, but a real small hamlet. So it used to protect the river and the old road. If you see down there, I don't know if you can see the cars, that was the old road. Only in recent times was a tar road or dirt road back then built. So that's why the castle faced the river and faced the old road as for protection. Bebristsikhe is built on the Karrtli river, which is north of Mtsheta. And as you can see where those cars are parked, that was the old road that went to Mtsheta. You might ask, what were they protecting the region from? Well, up To the north, you had the Mongols, and the Mongols kept on raiding down into this area. In fact, the Mongols took hold of the country. They ran the country for about 20 years until the locals managed to throw them out again. So the wars were quite big. There was a lot of skirmishes between the Mongols, and also from the south you had the Muslims that kept on coming up. The south is that way, and we'll go and have a look just now. In 1236, the Mongols took power in Georgia, and it took them about 20 years for the then Georgians, they weren't called Georgia there, but the locals, to throw them out. So it was quite important to have infrastructure like castles and that to protect the main arteries going into the city. So the castle is made up of two regions. The citadel, this would be the citadel itself. So this is where the royal family would actually live, in the citadel. And then what they call the lower courtyard, this would have been the lower courtyard here. And this is where they would sell food and groceries and stuff like that in the lower courtyard. Over there in the distance where it looks like a step ladder, that was the tower, and we'll get to that story later on, what happened in the tower. Like any good castle, it must have quite a good legend. And the legend for this castle and how it actually got its name is as follows. So the castle used to belong to a prince called Simon. And Simon had two children. His oldest child was a kind-hearted daughter called Makrine. And Makrine was really a nice person, beautiful, kind, loving, and the people really enjoyed her. Unfortunately, she had a brother called Mamuka, and Mamuka was not a pleasant boy at all. So when Simon passed away, Mamuka took over the castle and ran it, and he was really a mean-spirited person. He overtaxed the people, and the peasant folk really got quite poor in the region, and he didn't care. If they complained, he would whip them, he would kill them, and yeah, that's how they did it in the old days. So through his overtaxation, his sister complained and moaned, said, look, you can't do this, you can't be that horrible to the people. And she actually started a bit of an uprising against her brother, which really enraged him. So he locked her up in the fortress. It's a bit like Rapunzel, I suppose. And she was locked away for many years in the castle. Because the folk were so poor, one evening they were making a watery stew, really a few potatoes, stuff like that, really not a nutritious meal at all. And two ravens flew over and flew into the pot, and Mamuka heard this disturbance, and he went down to see the people, and why were they shouting and screaming. He got his guards out to whip them, and in the melee with the guards whipping the peasants, the two pots fell over and two snakes came out. The snakes specifically looked for Mamuka, and when they found him, they wrapped themselves around him, and he fell to his knees and he prayed to the Lord, please let me go, let me go. If you let me go, I'll build a church in your name. The sister in the tower also saw what was going on, and she also fell to her knees and prayed to God that please let her brother go. He's not as evil as you think. And God listened to him, because he did say he would make a church in his name, and God released him from the snakes. And with that, he left. He just left the castle, never to be seen again. And after many years, when Rapunzel passed away, and at the funeral, this old man came, a wizened old man came to the funeral, and he looked down at Rapunzel, and he looked up at the heavens, and he said, God, you see, I kept my promise.
Bebristsikhe means fort of the old man.
And so that's where it got its name, which is quite interesting. As I said, any good castle needs a good name, or a good story. So, as I said before, this is the southeastern tip of this castle. As you can see, here's the tip, and that would have been a lookout point. What they used to do, they would burn fires at the top there, so if they saw any enemy coming down the old road this way, they'll burn a fire, and you'll find that major churches along the way are on the tops of hills, and they would pass the message all the way along, warning people that the enemy is coming. Really is a beautiful sight.